Hello folks, what a bounce in Bitcoin. What a bounce. But is the altcoin season still on, or is it just a Bitcoin bounce this time? And who could have called this, huh? You remember who could have called this? If you've been watching my videos, well, I've been calling for a major bounce in Bitcoin, and I'll show you how I got to that conclusion. But what I can show you also today is what's going to happen with the altcoins, right? So if you've been following my videos, you know I've been calling for this topish pattern, distribution pattern in Bitcoin. But that does not necessarily mean the end of altcoin season. I can show you what the probabilities are. Probabilities, like always, not 100% certainty that altcoins going to the moon or they're going to crash. I can show you where the probabilities are and where I strongly lean on where altcoin season is happening or not, and if it's going to happen, at what time period will happen, right? And how to get ready for it. So with this Bitcoin bounce so far, if you've been watching any of my videos for the last 3 or 4 days, right? And I know some of you haven't because it's the holiday period, because it's the New Year's, and a lot of people are just out there drinking and partying, so they haven't watched Pablo's videos, and you snooze, you lose, buddy. The last 3 or 4 videos clearly outline where Bitcoin is going, right? With the bounce I was talking about. So here it is. For example, I'm going to show you 2 charts today on where Bitcoin's going, and then I'll show you where I think altcoins are going. So here is the chart that I posted on Twitter, right? That's the most obvious one. I'll show you why I think it gets topped out at this level here, and what happens next, and where I got this line from. So for most people, right, for most people who have been following me on Twitter or in my Discord, they saw a very clear signal. Yes, about 2 weeks ago, I said there are 2 possibilities. One is Bitcoin could pull back could have a crash to the low 80s, right? And that's from people like Peter Brent who are calling for that, right? I said that could happen. And I also said, yeah, but we could also have a bounce. I'm 50-50. That was 2 weeks ago. But in the last few days, because the pattern that Bitcoin was playing out was a downward wedge, and I didn't know that until about 6 days ago. So from about 6 to 7 days ago, I started calling, I am leaning towards a big bounce in the markets. A big bounce unless stocks crash. If stocks even go sideways, I think we're going for a big bounce. And here it is. Let me show you. So this, for example, you can have a look on my Twitter page, right? I posted about 4 or 5 days ago, where a fractal, right? It's this fractal I posted, right? Saying a bounce is coming. This was posted 4 days ago, and this is my, Discord 4 days ago. So I've been saying it's a downward wedge, right? Similar to Bitcoin in mid 2021. Bitcoin bounced up to make new all-time highs. So if I take that price fractal, right, and I copy and paste it, it suggests Bitcoin would go to 103 to 104K before pulling back to 97, 98K. And then secondary target is 112K or even as high as 115K. And that's exactly what I've done here, and exactly what I posted on social media, right, on Twitter. And I'll just show you one more before I demonstrate to you exactly how this is done. Second message was also from... Second message was also from here. Yeah. So, and this was from just after Christmas, I said, right, December. And I said, I drew one scenario which I think will play out. The price moves from Feb to May 2021, right? And it's this orange line. And I'll show you this orange line as a second scenario. Okay? I'll show you both scenarios of how they play out. The orange scenario and the blue scenario, right? And if you look at the orange scenario, it's actually very, very accurate as well. Like, if you just show the orange scenario, if we just show that one, for folks who've been watching my videos, they see this already. They saw me in my videos in the last 2 weeks showing how this orange scenario, look at this, almost exactly it's following that path. How this orange scenario, right, I started penciling out from back here, right? From back here, around late December, right? Late December. And mid-December. And then also the blue scenario, which is also playing out, right? Not as exactly accurate. But I'll show you guys how I arrived at. And then I'll show you guys how Altseason would play out in that scenario. Now, but before I get onto the Altseason and how that happens, first let's answer the question of which crypto exchange does Pablo use? Well, Pablo uses a non-KYC crypto exchange. That means you don't need to show any ID. That means Americans can use it, right? Americans can use it because they can't see you're American. They don't ask you for ID. So that means IRS, tax office, or CIA, FBI, nobody can see that it's you trading on there because even the exchange doesn't know it's you. There's non-KYC. And because Pablo has asked me to do a deal for my followers, there's now up to $5,500 worth of newbie benefits if folks sign up now, right? Simple sign up right here. And if you're on YouTube right now, it's basically the link just underneath you in the description, but only on that link provided with Pablo. Or if you're on any other platform, basically just go to my page and there's a stand link right there. And if we go in there and there's the first deal that comes up, click here, because this is a big deal for Pablo that I'm doing with the exchanges. So basically up to $5,500 worth of newbie prizes and benefits, and it's non-KYC, no IDs needed, right? But only on this link that Pablo is providing. Okay, let's go straight back onto the charts. How did we arrive at the blue line? As I said, first of all, we took the price fractal from back in, this is a 4-hour chart. Let me do it as a daily chart. This is the price fractal we got from here. See the wedge? That's the downward wedge, right? Downward wedge. Here's the downward wedge. So I assume usually in these downward wedges, this is July 2021, prices tend to bounce up. So I just copied this part, right? That's what you're seeing. This part onto here. That's the blue part you see, right? The blue part. That's the blue part. But I was using a 4-hour chart for Bitcoin. So this is what we're looking at. So what that would suggest to us is basically, it keeps on doing that. What this would suggest to us is basically Bitcoin is likely to hit some resistance around this 104.5 area and pull back around this 97.5 area and then come up to make a high around this 113, 112 area. I'll give it to as high as 115. I've been saying this for like 10 days, the last 10 days, right? And then go down. What we need to watch out for in terms of timing is if this happens, see Gen 20 is around here. This is Gen 20, right? Gen 20. If it actually got to around 112, if it came early, right now it's coming earlier than the blue pattern suggests. If it comes to 112, 113 earlier and hits this red line, then I would be very worried. Then I think we're going to be, because that's the Trump inauguration, and I think we're going to see buy the news, sell on rumor. Buy on rumor, sell on news when Trump gets inaugurated. Then this pattern comes earlier, and then I'm expecting a dump to at least 100K. And just to quickly show you guys why I'm doing this this red line, why that red line is such a big, important resistance. And once again, this is just repeating over old stuff that I've been talking about again and again and again in my old videos, because people, don't watch them, or they miss out on like 5 videos in a row, and then they're like surprised when Pablo calls for a big bounce. That is if we use a non-log natural chart, and we link the 2017 November high, the high at in 2021, 64K Bitcoin, 69K Bitcoin, and then we get this 108K target, which I didn't think was going to work, but Bitcoin hit 108K, went down to 92. So that worked pretty well. I also called for 108K top, but I used a different chart. I used a rising channel. Again, that's in my old videos, and on my old Twitter and Discord if you guys want to watch that. So once again, we've seen how powerful this red line is now. So if Bitcoin was to hit that red line, I'm expecting a pullback. So 112, 113K is what I'm expecting. At max, 115K and then pull back. Now let's have a look at the orange chart. The orange chart, right, as I just showed you guys and I explained it, was basically taking this price action. The price action from Feb to April, or Feb to May 2021, when I was expecting a topping pattern here. Also see how it's bouncing against that red line, and it comes down. So what do we have here? We have basically, this is Feb. Let's call this starting from say Feb 09, Feb 08, when Bitcoin got to 45K, and then just swung between 45 to like 64. That's a big swing area, and that's what I've been saying, right? And kept on swinging, like made 1, 2, 3, 4 swings. This one couldn't pierce 60K, and then boom, we have the crash down to 30K. So that's the orange line. I've just copied and pasted this line, copied this area from Feb 9th, right? Feb 8th, Feb 9th to essentially like late May. Yeah, late May. Feb 9th, early Feb to late May, and I copy and pasted to the current action we have here. And this obviously was pasted around this date. That's when the first orange lines began. This was around mid-December. I've been saying, what if this scenario plays out? Because it'll keep on bumping against this red trend line, which is, that big red trend line I've just shown you guys. And so far, look at this. It's playing out perfectly. It's playing out better than the blue line, the blue fractal I just showed you guys, right? If we get this follow up here, it would peak around here. This is January 20th. January 20th, this is telling us the price is around 110 area, 111, right? 111. Yeah, once again, 111, 112. And this is January 20th. So this is just right on the Trump inauguration. If we get a pullback, I will be very careful. What it seems to suggest though is pullback to what, 100K, bounce off 100, bounced off 99K, back up against to 114K, and then boom, another. This is the lower high, right? A lazy shoulder, right shoulder, whatever you want to call it, and this would be April, somewhere in April, and boom, right? It comes down here. Then either the bull market ends, right, around this late mid-March, mid-April area, or like we just saw in 2021, we go down for a few months, right? We go down for a few months, and then we have this big bounce back up again. So I just want to show you guys what is going to happen with altcoin season. Now, a lot of people who have seen this video and these forecasts of mine are pretty pessimistic because that's saying, well, Bitcoin bull run could end around March, early March even, or April. But if I know most of you guys who think like that are basically in altcoins. You have a large altcoins bag. You don't have much Bitcoin, right, to begin with, most of you guys. So I'm saying don't be pessimistic because altcoins actually did insanely well during that period. The orange chart I just showed you was between Feb 9th to like May something, right? Let me now show you what altcoins did during that period. Okay, let's have a look. This is the, which chart is this? Is this the orange chart? Okay, the orange chart. We'll keep that one. We'll use the blue chart instead. That's a total 2. Total 2 is basically all the altcoins except Bitcoin, right? And that's, have a look at what it did. Bitcoin went into that sideways swinging period between February 9th, right? Remember it was February 9th? February 9th. February 8th, February 9th. It was around 535 billion, right? And then the crash didn't come till early May. This is, well, the top on 12th of May here. And it's at 1.48 trillion. That's almost a 3x run. Almost 3x run, right? In Ethereum, Solana, Doge, BNB, Phantom, XRP, all the big, right? All the big altcoins made a 3x run. So what's there to be pessimistic about? And then, let's say, I'm not 100% saying, like, what I tell you guys are probabilities. These are always probabilities. I'm not saying we get definitely a 100%. I'm not saying we get definitely a 100% top in Feb or March. I'm just watching that fractal like the rest of you guys. And if the fractal is invalidated, if say price doesn't act according to the fractal, we never go to 110, 112K, then ignore the fractal. Then we'll say let's find a new workable plan or framework. But as long as it follows and it's validating that fractal, then we have to respect it and say, well, either crypto and Bitcoin, either Bitcoin tops in March, mid-March, late March kind of area, or what's happening is that we can have that's either the top for Bitcoin if the fractal plays out, or that is a very major local top. Major local top means it'll go down, right, to like maybe 70s, spend a couple of months there when everyone's giving up, right, and then it bounces up again to new all-time high, hits 115, 120, 130K, like what it did in 2017 bull run, and it also did that in 2021 bull run. So keep that in mind, right? Altcoins can still do a major run, and if that did happen, look what happened to altcoins. Altcoins basically had a massive crash, right? This was 2021, had from 1.5 trillion in mid-May down to July. So that's 2 months it's spent going down. And then from this is $600 billion area, went all the way to run to November, 1.7. So that's again, almost a 3x run. If you were able to exit your altcoins position here, start buying somewhere around there, dollar cost averaging in, you can never get the exact bottom, right? Especially on these panic dips, right? Get in on these dips and then sell some here, dollar cost average out some here, would have done quite well with your altcoins portfolio. Okay, so I hope that does clear up a lot of the misunderstanding. A lot of people who are panicking is just because you've spent the new year and the Christmas period not watching Pablo's videos, and then people start panicking, right? And not understanding why Pablo called for a bounce, right? Okay, anyways, thank you for your time, and I'll catch you guys for next episode.